Tarkowski with the late dagger, the stunner, the equaliser in the 98th minute of the game. The final derby at Goodison Park ends in dramatic, scintillating, almost orgasmic fashion. Liverpool had the title wrapped up. It would have been a 9-point gap. It's still a big 7-point gap, but the door slightly left ajar due to the Tarkowski dagger at the final whistle. It all kicked off afterwards. Curtis Jones couldn't handle a little bit of banter and start to fight with the Corey. Both sent off. Liverpool fans throwing coins, bottles, and missiles at the Everton players and stewards. Slot then gets sent off. So much to unpack in that game, but hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Oh my God, we love the Premier League. We love the Premier League, don't we? There's no better league in the world for me. No better league in the world. Oh, wow. Love it. Absolutely love it. Hit the like button, please. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure the bell notification button is turned on. Woo! I catch my breath. I'm going to take a little sip of my drink, a little bit of sparkling water. Loads to unpack, loads to talk about. Liverpool fans are going crazy. No, it was definitely a goal. Let's just start with the final goal. Let's start at the end here. Let me just timestamp this as well for the people watching the playback. Tarkowski's goal was clean. Absolutely onside. I don't know why it took the line so long. Purely onside. They wanted a foul on Konaté. Absolutely not. Not on Yanelli. There was barely any force in that whatsoever. There was a slight nudge, but the centre-backs do that all game. Nothing wrong with the cross. Tarkowski's onside. He bangs it. What a finish as well with his right peg into the top corner. Nothing wrong with that final goal whatsoever. There can be no whinging. There can be no crying. There can be no boo-hooing. Nothing wrong. Wasn't offside. There wasn't a foul on Konaté. Well-struck goal. Absolutely should stand completely and utterly above board. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And a few people saying Salah clearly fouled in the build-up. Look, I didn't hear. This is the thing for me. I haven't seen that part of the replay. Maybe my head wasn't watching at that point. Someone send me that foul and we can have that conversation. But just like when Liverpool got the penalty against Bournemouth, VAR can't check that. It's timed out. So if it's outside the time frame, they can't go back to that point. It is what it is. They go with the referee's decision on field. Liverpool have benefited from that. Now maybe you've become you've suffered from it. But in terms of the elements they can check, there was nothing wrong with that goal. Send me the foul and I'll look at it. I may change my mind. I'm very open-minded about it. I didn't see it in the build-up. They haven't shown a replay of it. So I don't know how anyone can say it was clearly a foul. They've shown a replay. So if someone can send me that replay, maybe I will change my mind. But of course, Liverpool fans won't be blaming referees today, will they? As they say, that's for the week. Only joking. If the referee and the VAR have made a mistake, we will absolutely call it out. So please send that to me. But the last goal should have stood. I thought it was an excellent derby overall, though. Absolutely stunning derby in every single way, if I'm being honest. I felt that Everton were probably the marginally the better side. On the night, they had the majority of the chances. They dominated in the second half in terms of the territories. The opening goal, again, they worked the Liverpool backline perfectly. Beto caught them asleep. Excellent first-time shot. I think he caught Alisson off guard. Normally doesn't have that kind of finishing technique. But then Liverpool fought back very quickly straight away and got themselves back on level terms. And they did a phenomenal job in that. And I actually really liked Liverpool's equaliser. They really squeezed and suffocated Everton and made it hard for them to play out. They capitalised on an Everton mistake. The ball ends up with Mo Salah. His cross, sublime. People act like he has no technique. Maybe he's not the best in the world with flip-flaps and drag-backs and step-overs. But I just don't think that makes a great footballer. That cross from him is harder than a drag back. It's harder than a Cruyff turn. That cross from him was amazing, and he does it regularly. Brilliant cross, a wonderful run from McAllister, gets his head on the ball, and it's 1-1. Then really, Everton kind of took over the game. They didn't have an abundance of clear-cut chances, but I thought they were the better side. Liverpool weren't really getting up for the match. Everton have a few chances, and there was a few calls by the referee as well. Should Conor Bradley have been sent off? No, not in my personal opinion. I don't think Conor Bradley should have been sent off. I think it put him on the edge. I think anything more, and he would have gone. Cleverly taken off by Arne Slot. There was the handball call, and I know there's an angle that looks like he dragged the ball back, but it was purely accidental. His arm's moving down, which is normal, and it's kind of ricocheted and ended up underneath him as his arm's coming down. So there's a certain angle that makes it look like Konaté drags it back with his arm. I don't think it was a handball, but I actually think Liverpool would have been given that penalty. I really think they would have been awarded it. And if, by the way, if the referee gives it, I don't think they overturn it. And it's a real big problem with the referees at the moment, but correctly not given. Everton shouldn't have had a penalty there. Then Liverpool go and take the lead. And it was a bit of a scrappy goal. But the second goal reminded me a little bit of the first goal. They actually, for the first time really in the second half, put a bit of a squeeze on Everton, pinned them back. I thought Darwin deserves a lot of credit. I think Darwin last season would have tried to swivel on a sixpence, smash that ball with his left foot, and it would have ended up in row Z. But he stayed composed. He played it out to, I want to say it was Curtis Jones. I think it was Curtis Jones, who then has a shot. It very fortuitously falls to the feet of Mo Salah. One touch, bang. He gets a goal and an assist in a very quiet game. And it looks as though Liverpool are walking away with the 3 points. And at that point, I felt that it was game over and season over. I'm not going to lie. I tweeted about it to hopefully tempt the football gods. And the football gods responded. But I thought it was over. I feel like 9 points is absolutely impossible. 7 points, I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance. There needs to be a Liverpool collapse. But now we look at Liverpool this week, beaten by Plymouth, and they didn't get the 3 points tonight. The reason Liverpool rested was to get the 3 points for tonight. They have a 7-point gap, and that is still significant. That is still significant. But this game in hand has been what everybody watching the league this year has been waiting for. Will they win it? Will they capitalize? Will they go that full 9 points clear, or is there an opportunity? And there now is an opportunity, in my opinion. It's a slim one. It is a tight one, a very, very tight one indeed, but it's there. How do you know this? You can tell by the reaction of the Liverpool players. You can tell by the frustrations that they demonstrated that, yes, it's partly because it's a derby, but also they knew that going 9 points clear is what it is. But Liverpool up next, they play Wolves, which is the game that they should be winning. There's no doubt about that. They should be getting the W. But then 2 big away games, away at Aston Villa and away at Manchester City. Then it's actually subsequently 3 home games. Newcastle, which is tough. Southampton, which is easy. And then they play Everton again just in a few short weeks. If by any chance they were to draw with Wolves and maybe lose away at Villa, which is plausible, if in that time span, Forest pick up 2 wins, if Arsenal pick up 2 wins, it changes the complexity of the season. Liverpool are still the outright favourites to win it. I still think they're the best team in the world, but they bottled tonight very late on. They just couldn't keep their composure. They just couldn't keep themselves together. And I will say that as much as Everton had the territory tonight, 9 times out of 10 when that ball came into the box, Konaté, Van Dijk got rid of it by hook or by crook. And right at the end, they just let up. So look, as I say, an amazing game. It keeps the title race alive, which I think as neutrals, we all want. Well, I suppose if you're Chelsea or Spurs, you don't want it. Because you don't want Arsenal being in the title race. But I think for everybody else, we want something to look at and root for. And that goal, I think, maybe only for a couple of weeks. Let's see what Arsenal and Forest do next weekend. But it keeps it alive. And it was a great game. It was a great derby in isolation. I feel a draw was very much a fair result. I don't think either team did enough to say we deserve to be winners. So a draw was very much a fair result. But, yeah, as I say, title race still just about on. Still just about on. Brilliant game of football. Mohamed Salah clutch. Liverpool are still the favourites, but Tarkowski, you little dancer. You little dancer. And by the way, all kicking off at the end, there's nothing wrong with what Decore did. Also, I don't even think there's anything wrong with what Curtis Jones did. I like a bit of it. I like a bit of needle. We need it in the game. We need to bring it back. We absolutely do. And it needs to stop being played down. It really, really does. So, yeah, amazing. Amazing. Let's get to some of your comments that have come through here. I want to know what you're all thinking, feeling, your opinions on today's game. We've got Tom Little joining us soon. I think we've got a few others joining us as well. That was painful. Great back and forth game, though. Yeah, Carl, 100% it's going to be painful for you as a Liverpool fan. But I think you're absolutely right. It was a great game for the neutral. There's no doubt. This is why we watch. Absolutely. Everything about tonight's game is why we watch football. It absolutely is. We'll all have a difference of opinion on it. We'll all clash over different elements of it. But it was a phenomenal game. There's no doubt about that. Best league in the world, sports, and I'm American. Thank you, Moose Wizard. It's funny because I saw the coach, I don't remember his name, at the Philadelphia Eagles talk about the NFL and say how like football, American football is the best team sport in the world. And I did laugh because Lionel Messi's tweet of him, his Insta post of him turning up at the final, the Super Bowl, got more likes than the major post saying the Philadelphia Eagles won it. We're definitely bigger and better. I'm just putting it out there. I love the NFL, but we're bigger and better. I'm sorry, how was that not a handball by Konaté? He was literally playing basketball in the box, similar to Veltman, which was given. I would say this, Zane. I don't think it was a red card because his arm was actually doing what it was meant to be doing. He was in a sort of running motion and the ball ended up coming into his path and he couldn't stop his arm. And sometimes, right, when you then try and take your arm away, it can make it look even worse. I don't think it was a handball. But I think a lot of those, the one that we conceded against Liverpool, I don't think that's handball. A player jumps and then he tries to change direction in the air. Your arm does this and it just accidentally hit it. I just sometimes think handball should go back to when I was younger, when this was handball. The ball's going past you and you go, oh, handball used to be so easy when I was growing up. Now it's well hard. Ball that we conceded from was a dive for the opener. Yeah, I've seen one angle where it looks like a dive, and then I've seen the angle from behind where it looks like there's some contact as well. So, yeah, that's a real interesting. I want to see that one again, but they didn't show enough replays on where I was watching it, to be fair. Hit the like button, chat. Thank you, Luke. Yes, everyone, get the like buttons done and smashed and hit right now. Let's get this content shared and out there, please. Let's do it right now. Graham says 7 clear will do. Keep up. Yeah, I think, listen, 7 points clear is nice. 7 points clear is nice. But the game in hand has been it's been the key point, I think, for a lot of Liverpool fans that come on the terrace and a lot of rivals that we speak to. If they win that game in hand, I think it could be over. They didn't win it. So what I'm not going to do is change my narrative that just because that game's done, it's finished and it's over with. Sorry, because I'm not going to change my mind after watching that game. I felt if Liverpool went 9 points clear, 100% they'd won the league. No more title race. Now, slight jeopardy. But you got to remember what I'm saying here as well, Graham. Slightly ajar. Language is important. I'm not saying, you're going to be off the top spot in 3 weeks' time. That would be crazy. Konaté was pushed, but doesn't suit the narrative. John Jones. Look, if you were the real John Jones, I'd agree with you. But I think it was a very slight nudge. And let's be absolutely honest. If we're going to give all those little nudges, fair. But a precedent was set. Okay? And I'm trying to give an opinion based on the consistency of refereeing, which is hard sometimes. Do you remember the push last season? Newcastle on Arsenal in the back? If that's not a foul, that nudge on Konaté can't be a foul. I'm just putting it out there. So I don't think there was much in it. I think there was a little bit of a nudge. Yes. But for me, I've seen much bigger pushes not given. I saw one the other day in a game, and I can't remember who was playing, guys. You're going to remind me on this one. When a player went to do an overhead, I think it was Paqueta. He was about to try and do some overhead kick, and someone grabbed his back and pulled it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's more of a foul, and that isn't given. So if you're not going to give pulls like that, I don't think you can give the Konaté one personally. Got gay red ND ref should have blown already 2 minutes over. He did commit another cynical foul, yes, after he was booked. So did Connor Bradley. Neither was sent off. I'm someone that likes letter of the law, so maybe 2 red cards should have been given. But at least there was some consistency there shown by the ref. The only thing I'd call out from the referee's performance today is why in today's game, probably because it's a derby, did you apply the logic of don't ruin the spectacle? But they may not do that at the weekend. In terms of going 2 minutes over, look, it was at the referee's discretion. In time added on is at the minimum of. And how long, I don't know, how long was Tarkowski and the guy down for? A couple of minutes? So they added that on for that time period there. And normally what they allow to happen is for the attack to finish. But yes, there we go. They tried so hard to disallow it, zooming in and out. The funny thing is Van Dijk was laughing at Red just for his manager to get the next one. But that FA Cup exit looks really bad now, especially resting players. Well, that was the narrative on Saturday. Liverpool fans may have changed their mind. The narrative on Saturday on the terrace was, as long as we beat Everton, I'm happy with going out to Plymouth. It hasn't happened. Maybe their minds have changed. Maybe they think differently. That is fair. We'll hear from the panel very, very soon. Keith says, robbed. I don't think you were robbed. Not that last goal. People keep telling me about the Mo Salah foul in the build-up. Checking my DMs. No one has sent me a DM or anything to show me how and why that was a foul. I haven't seen it. TV channel didn't replay it, so I can't confirm or deny. I don't know. I need to see it. Liverpool was never robbed. Liverpool bottled it at the end. Everton was more dangerous this game. An extra minute was for the head collision. So Curtis was wuss. I don't know what wuss means. I don't know what that means. As an Arsenal fan, I'm still hoping, but with our whole attack injured, I don't think we can win nearly every game left. Listen, I agree. I still think Liverpool will win the league. I just think it keeps the story alive for a little bit longer, and it makes it exciting. And I still think Arsenal's next 2 games, you should be winning. I think your next 2 matches, if I'm not mistaken, away to Leicester, at home to West Ham, I expect you to win, even with the injuries. I do. And then, listen, the tough one is away to Forest. Then you're away to Forest. Then you're away to Man United. Again, away to Man United, I expect you to win. Have you seen what lower level teams have done to us at Old Trafford this year? And look who you are. Then we start to head towards, then you got Chelsea at home. By the time you get to that, you may have Martinelli back. You may have Saka back. Then you've got the international break, and you should have both back. So, listen, let's see how the next 4 or 5 games go. You've also got Nottingham Forest in that time period. And Nottingham Forest, they're away at Fulham and away at Newcastle. They've got massively difficult games coming up. If they could win a couple of those and Liverpool drop a couple more points, which is conceivable, everything's alive. And what I want as a neutral, I just want it to stay alive. I want there to be a bit of jeopardy until the end of the season. I feel if it goes to 9 points, level on games, I do think it's done, though. If this was Arteta going after Oliver like Slot did, the FA would ban him for 5 games and the media will slaughter Arsenal this week. Respect to Everton. What I'll say, PD, is this. I don't think there'll be any conspiracy here. I think both Liverpool and Everton will both get charged by the FA for failing to control their players. Slot got sent off for approaching the ref, so he's already been punished. It'll be interesting to see what the media say, whether the media give him the same scrutiny as they would Arteta. But in terms of punishment, I'm sure they're all going to get the same. I can apologize if you found my fish and chip paper comment upsetting. No, it didn't upset me. It doesn't upset me. I promise you. I know that all of you guys at Super Chat are good people, by and large. I am a good Super Chatter person for your channel. Just H doesn't represent my club, in my opinion. We are allowed these, aren't we? Oliver needs to be discussed. You're allowed to super chat what you want, as long as it is. You can challenge people without being disrespectful. There's a difference. I didn't think anything you said the other day, Sean, was disrespectful in any regard. Wasn't nasty or anything along those lines. So yeah, no problems at all, mate. And what would you like to discuss about Oliver? I'd love your opinions. I've called out referees for years. I've called out the mistakes they've made. And as I say, my biggest issue with him tonight is I think he left maybe 2 people on the pitch he shouldn't have done, but he did it because it was a derby. And I fucking hate that. It damages the integrity of the game because it means a player can stay on the pitch today because it's a derby, but it also means he can play the next match. How is that fair on his future opponents because he didn't get a red card because of the occasion of the other game? It's one of the most nonsensical pieces of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. I think it's a disgrace. The Arsenal fans got the lotion out. I'm sure they did. Because you've got to hope. And I actually think the best chance Arsenal have got of winning the league is a Liverpool collapse. I don't necessarily think it's about Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal can win their next 14 games. It would take a Liverpool collapse. And we've all seen teams collapse before. And it takes results like this to start that motion. And touching wood, this doesn't happen because I don't wish injury on anyone. What if a knee goes here and a hamstring goes there and an ankle goes there in the next few weeks and Liverpool's suddenly short? Dropping points today could be significant. It really could. And I get some Arsenal fans say, no, it's over, it's dead. They're entitled to say that. I don't think they'll win it. I'm just pointing out it's slightly alive. There's a heartbeat. Absolute robbery. We bottled nothing. Agendas. You got to tell me what the robbery is, though, my friend. I need to understand. Mo Salah is world class. Without him, I don't know where Liverpool would be at this stage. Yeah, listen. 45 GA this season. Everyone knows what I think of Mo Salah. Your greatest ever Premier League player. I think if he stays another 2 or 3 years continuing to do this, I think he becomes the greatest player in your club's history. That's my personal opinion. I can't claim who the best player in your history is, though. That is for Liverpool fans only to do. Phenomenal player. And he was the difference. No Mo Salah on the pitch tonight. If he was out injured, you lose. You lose. Which is why if he goes in the summer, you've got to go and buy someone as good and as expensive as Isak or better. You've got to. Because you've got a player of that level now. And you might be able to find another one at 35 million and build them up. But I doubt it. Rare to do that. Thank God we are being chased by a team that were 248 days on top and absolutely bottled it. Otherwise, I'd be worried. We are winning the league, is what John Jones says. You should be winning the league still from here. What is this that I am witnessing? Liverpool fans moaning about the referees online. I thought only one fan base did that. Yeah, all fan bases do it. And there are times that all fan bases should call it out. Absolutely, they should. I don't know who created this weird notion online, like it's wrong to challenge and question what referees do. I don't quite know where it's come from, to be honest with you. 98th minute, 98th minute, I'm fuming, upset as an Arsenal fan, thinking it's done. I stopped watching. Then I received a notification from TFT. Liverpool bottled it. Relief. But I'm glad we could be of service. The only thing I'm a little annoyed about is I had a bet on tonight. I had a little bit of a flutter. And I'm hoping another one of the results went against me. I'm hoping another one of the results went against me because that way I'll feel less bad. But I put a bet on at the start of the game because, again, I don't bet with what I want to happen. I bet with what I think will happen because that's it. And I only ever bet small amounts of money, nothing major. Oh, it's going against me. Yeah, I put Feyenoord to win, Bayern Munich to win, Liverpool to win. Thanks, Liverpool. Cost me £50. I don't bet a lot of money. I only do small amounts, but there we go. The last derby at Goodison Park ends in a scrap heritage. Yeah, that was nice. That was beautiful. Michael Oliver would let Everton play until they scored. To be honest, another disgrace. Did he, though? Hang on a minute. Let me just look at this for a minute. I'm not saying you're wrong. I want to try and look at this objectively. So they scored in the 98th minute, but it was like 97 minutes and so. When did... I'm going to have to watch it back later. I think you were about 94 minutes. You were about 94 minutes and he stops play. And he stops play for about 2 minutes. 93 minutes, sorry, and he stops it for about 2 minutes. And I think you started... I remember he was still on the floor and it's saying like 95, 30 seconds. So if he was down for 2 minutes... Playing on until about the 98th minute seems about right. I'd have to go back and watch it, though, to be fair. Terry loved the stream. Michael Oliver is a shit ref. Clear bias for City against Liverpool, Arsenal, etc. But think Everton fought hard today and deserved the point. Yeah, I don't think a point's an unfair result in terms of balance of play. I think you're correct there. The standard of officiating is piss poor. Where did 8 extra minutes come from? The two Everton players collided with each other. Yes, they did, but it's a head injury and play has to be stopped. That's This is where I will defend the referees. When they broke protocol and denied Liverpool a goal against Spurs last year, we all called it out, yes? And I stood shoulder to shoulder with Liverpool fans. What we can't ask him to do tonight is break protocol and not stop play for a head clash. It doesn't matter whether it's... Because imagine this, based on what you just said there, Badge, think about the precedent you set. Your next game, 1-1 in the last 10 minutes, last 3 minutes. And Konaté and Van Dijk go to header a ball and clash heads and they're laying on the floor. Are you happy for the referee just to allow a Wolves player to pick the ball up and put it in the back of the net? Or are you going to ask for the game to be stopped? They might be 5 minutes on the ground. Are you going to ask for 5 minutes of injury time to be added because of that clash? You are. So I think I know you're angry, but I think we've got to be very careful of the precedent that we set in these moments, or ask for in these moments. We can't say it with the fans. Don't do an Arsenal and blame the ref. The VAR and Liverpool fans are pathetic. Liverpool didn't deserve a point. Didn't deserve a win. Point is a fair result. We still love the Premier League will you still love the Premier League when Liverpool lift it? Yes. And I hate the idea of Liverpool winning it, but part and parcel of sports is going through the pain of losing things, being bad, seeing rivals win, and then in the hope that one day you go and win those trophies, and we won the FA Cup last season, Man United, and it always feels great. But there was something sweeter about beating our local rivals who beat us the year before. They had a different dimension to it. So yes, of course, I'll love it. I don't stop watching football because a team I don't like starts winning. That's a very that's a bit like people that, I don't like one storyline in the show that I like, so therefore I'm going to stop watching the whole thing. I find that a bit weird. I'm afraid we're done. We got robbed. It's over. That's what this one Liverpool fan says here. Well, that's a big take. The mental gymnastics to think it's not a foul, and it's appropriate amount of time added, played until they've scored. Again, I don't think it is. I don't think it's mental gymnastics for me to say it was a slight nudge in the back, and I don't think it's enough for a foul, especially based on the precedent set by VAR previously. That's not mental gymnastics. I'll just explain how that's mental gymnastics, and I'll bow to your superior knowledge. Everton red doesn't mean Bradley happens. It was 1 minute. Yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. If the right decisions are given, things can change. Absolutely. What I will say to the Liverpool fans moaning is I didn't see your energy for Bournemouth a few weeks ago when McAllister kicked a man between the legs when he was booked. And this is the only thing I would say, and I call all fan bases out for this. You've got to have the energy when you benefit from it. We've got to either call out poor refereeing every time it happens, not just when we feel we're hard done by. That's why no change ever happens. We need to be strong enough to stand up against our own fan base. I wonder if people can. Just 7 points off the top. So no more game in hand crap. If Liverpool don't win, it's definitely a bottle job. Oh, if they don't win it from here, of course it is. We can still lose to United, to be honest. Liverpool weren't robbed, is what Robert People says. A ref was not good for both teams. Liverpool were robbed. Salah was fouled. He was chopped down in the build-up, plus no foul on Mac. Listen, I've got to see that part again. I've said that right at the top of the video. They haven't shown that replays here on TV. I'm still waiting for someone to DM the replay to me. What I will say is this, though. I think you're going to hear the same excuse as to the penalty that Liverpool got against Bournemouth further back in the play, because Kluivert was fouled in the build-up to that, but they never went back and checked it. So I'm intrigued to see what they say about that. It's probably going to be the same answer. So again, if we're going to start challenging that and say you've got to go further back, I'm all for it. But then we have to have that energy for every time that happens, even when you benefit. We need to keep the energy the same on the terrace, please. Terry, I'm upset. I know Liverpool will slip. I just can't believe Arsenal didn't invest in January, especially with Havertz out now. Yeah, I understand that take. Terry, the United in you is so visible. The agenda of Liverpool collapse after one draw in the league makes me chuckle. I haven't said you're going to collapse. I still think you're going to win the league. All I have stated is I think that it keeps the door very slightly ajar. I still think you'll be champions. I still think you'll win the league. I still think you're the best team in the world. What agenda are we talking about here, Red Indian? Where have I said you're going to collapse? All I have stated is that there could be a collapse and it could start on nights like tonight, but I don't think there will be. I never said there's going to be a collapse. I never said it would happen. I wish this result meant something. I knew this would happen, and I expect Liverpool to ship more points, but we won't be able to capitalize. Shame on KSE. It's also a very fair take, my friend, and I get why you feel that way. Manchester clubs ruined English football forever. Oh, that's so random for tonight's game. Tonight has nothing to do with Man United, unless we're still paying the refs. But if we were, we'd probably be in a better position. I don't know. All right, time for my panel to come out now and have their say. Do me a big favor and hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed. What do you mean, blah, 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 bring the panel out? I'm answering super chats, you melt. We've got Husam, Tom Little, we've got Rack, we've got Mike as well, all coming on now to speak to us about that game. Welcome, gentlemen.
I'm going to start because I want to talk about the stuff that you said at the start. First of all, the goal for the first goal was not a foul to begin with. That's number one.
I sent the link, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the private chat. The goal was not a goal to begin with. Second of all, the reason why the second goal should have been ruled off is because it's not about what happens in the other games and the energy. During the game, you have to keep the same energy as Michael Oliver. Every time an Everton player done this to a Liverpool player, a foul was given. So just based on that, Beto and Konaté should have been a foul, because every time an Everton player was touched, a foul was given. So now you have to keep the energy consistent, even if it's in our penalty box or not. This is as robbed as it comes right here. The guy sent off Arne Slot for an aggressive handshake. Like that's literally what he got sent off for. Got sent off for an aggressive handshake. And I've always called out Premier League referees. This is not new for me. This whole season, I've not said a thing about referees and Liverpool, but I've defended Arsenal on a couple of occasions and criticized him on a couple of occasions. Today, absolute robbery. 100% robbery. Should have won the game. All our hard work got destroyed by the referee. Both of their goals shouldn't have stood, not just the first one. Both of their goals shouldn't have stood. It's 2025 and the stop.
Sorry, what was? I've seen the links to the first foul. What was wrong with the second goal in your opinion, Husam?
The second one, based on Michael Oliver's refereeing off the game, it should have been foul, Beto and Konaté. Go watch it right now, because every single that was not refereed.
Robertson had the same push. Robertson had
the same push. He gave him a yellow for it as well. So this is the stuff that I talk about. For me, it's frustrating because it feels like we are about to get our second win in 8 years away at Goodison, and we were there. And the referee, by the way, even in terms of time, he should have blown the whistle before Ashley Young even got the ball, because even with the head clash time, even for how long they were down, the full-time whistle should have been blown about 30 seconds before. So all of that put together is just it is the BS of me being frustrated with the referees today. And I haven't blamed the referees this whole season. I blame my individual players. I blame performances. I've spoken about everything. This is the first time, and it's February 13th, that I blame a referee. And today, it's not thank you, Everton. It's thank you, Michael Oliver, because Michael Oliver was Everton's man of the match. Everton did absolutely nothing the whole game except, the prototypical what you expect Everton to do. It's not like, Alisson could have had shisha for most of that game. And to be honest with you, it is a robbery. And Michael Oliver should not be allowed to referee a Liverpool game from now to the end of the season. And Arsenal fans were right. He's an absolute bleep and bleep and bleep and bleep. And I don't want to get Terry's video demonetized. Now, if you guys want to say something, say.
I don't know if I would go far to say robbery. I do think that we were hard done by and super unfortunate. I have more problems with the first goal because when you look at it from every single angle, McAllister doesn't touch him, but the referee had already lost control of the game by the 10th minute, which is the bigger problem. You were unable to consistently call fouls up until that point. It's 10 minutes in. McAllister doesn't touch him. He flails. Free kick. But to be honest with you, Konaté needs to be doing better there. It's that simple. You cannot let him just get in behind. Same thing with the second goal, right? If you want to say that the push is a foul, whatever. The goal went in. I'm not going to harp. Referees have been terrible for every single game this season. I have not seen a single well-officiated game in the Premier League in the entire 2024-2025 season. Trent Alexander-Arnold should not be allowing that ball to go in. He had the opportunity to press or foul the player with his back to him, right? Don't let him just loft the ball into the box, right? We can talk about the officiating, but at the same time, we can't just excuse our players for, I'm just going to say lack of effort, right? Lack of awareness. Ultimately, I don't really want to talk about the refs. Tactically speaking, We only had 6 total shots in 90 minutes against a garbage 16th place Everton team. We were unable to deal with their midfield. They weren't even pressing us. They were sitting in the box with 6, not pressing into our half. What did we do? We were outnumbered 5-6. Soboslai was hanging out with the front 4, chilling, drinking fucking sangria, not doing shit, and we were unable to bypass their midfield for large spells of the game, which led to limited creation, i.e. Salah ghosting. Salah's ghosting because we can't get the ball to him. We can't get the ball to him because we're not in the midfield properly. And I think that that's something that Arne Slot got wrong. I think that we did not do a good job of working through the midfield. We were outnumbered. Therefore, we were not able to impose ourselves on significant portions of the game. The majority of our possession was spent Van Dijk kicking it to Konaté, Konaté kicking it to Alisson, Alisson kicking it to Robertson, Robertson kicking back to Alisson, and then Virgil sticking his hand up going, why aren't you playing the ball forward? Like, I don't think that we were exceptional.
But that's how we play. We do play around the back. But what I do agree with you. We weren't really very good today, and don't get me wrong. People can talk about refereeing errors and stuff like that. I don't think the referee is great for either side today. Maybe we're on the rough end of the stick, but
what Everton unfortunately done by the referee today? What went against Everton?
Based on the performance today, I don't think we really deserve to win. I didn't think it was a good performance. It was average.
I don't disagree about the performance, but we deserve to win by the stone cold fact that we scored 2 legitimate goals and they didn't, and yet their goals stand. I didn't realise you were allowed to just jump on the floor under no tackle and get a free kick. And do you want to know what rattled me about that? It was the 4th time in the game. 4 times their players jumped over when there was no tackle, fell on the floor, and the referee gave the foul. He lost control in the 5th minute of the game.
But Tom, that's right.
I don't care about,
but the thing is, once you have a free kick against you, the onus is on you to defend it. We defended the free kick poorly.
That's
right?
Fine.
Rack. To be fair though, if the first McAllister challenge is going to be called as a foul, then how come Mo's run in I think it was like the 91st minute, and then he goes down at the edge of the box? Why is that not given? Because you've already set the precedent that all you need to do is fart on the player and it's a foul. So if he goes down there
was contact. Salah's leg gets fucking booted.
But the problem
why is that not a foul?
If you're looking, I agree with you, but if you're looking for consistency, we're not going to find it.
Wrong sport, wrong country.
Ultimately, you need to do what you need to do to win the game. We needed to take that game away from Everton, I thought, and I think overall, based on the overall play, we weren't significantly enough better than Everton. I don't think over the 90 minutes.
We only had 6 shots in 90 minutes.
You're not going to get a well-beaten of a performance away at Goodison Park with all the situations.
I agree.
With all the story around that game for Everton, you are not going to get a performance where you dominate Everton and play them off the park. That is not going to happen in this game. We made it 2-1. We took our chances when they came. From the moment we went 2-1 up until the final attack of the game, Everton could do nothing. They did nothing. Their only shots were coming from 35 yards. We managed the game perfectly fine then. And then Salah goes forward, gets
I don't know about that.
Right. What more could we have done then from minute 80 odd when we scored to minute 98? Because they had 2 shots. Both of them came from 30 yards out. One was Beto, which rolled into Alisson's hands, and the other was that Tim Irombaganonum who booted it 30 yards over the bar.
Hang on. They had 10 shots to your 6. They didn't have 2 shots. They had 10.
No, I'm on about the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm about the moment we made it 2-1. We did not give them anything. We had full control of that game.
We did not have control in extra time. We did not have control in extra time.
In extra time, you have the Salah run forward. You have the Salah run forward, gets fouled. That should have been a foul. They come forward. They don't do anything. We cleared it.
Tom, let me give you the stats. Let me give you the stats here. Let me give you the stats from when you scored the goal. So including your goal, you had 1 shot from the 77th minute of the game, and that was your shot on goal. They had 3 shots. They had 3 shots in that time. They had 52% of the ball. They had better pass completion. They completed more dribbles. They won more aerial draws. So look, me watching it. They didn't create the clear-cut chances. You're spot on with that because you stopped them at that point. But the idea that I don't see how you can say you controlled a game when the opponents in that time period you're mentioning had more shots, more of the ball, had more dribbles, won more duels.
You can control the game without having the ball. The fact we were limiting them to not having a clear-cut chance, the fact we were limiting them to hitting it from 35 yards, we had control of the situation. We had them exactly where we wanted them to be.
When Mike said when it got into extra time, it did become a bit of a pinball match. And when it becomes a pinball match, you win some, you lose some.
Every time we got during extra time, every time we got the ball, it was hoof. It was Trent try to kick it down to the corner so Darwin can get there. Darwin can't get there. Everton has the ball back. All right, everybody, sit back. Right? Like, to me, we could have done more to control that game throughout the extra time, regardless of the referees, regardless of them. We could have done like you cannot sit there and say that we were flawless in extra time outside of that one decision.
There's no way when you've played a minute over the added time allotment, you want your player to bring the ball down.
It wasn't a minute.
It wasn't a minute.
He went down in the night. They went down in the 95th minute. They stayed down for a minute and a half. That makes it the 96th and a half minute. They scored a goal at the 98th minute. That's a minute and a half. Like,
I'm not doing semantics about that. I'm on about when we were in the 96th
it's not
minute.
Semantics, it's maths.
No, when we were in the 96th minute and Trent picked up the ball, and Darwin made the run down the line. I don't expect Trent Alexander-Arnold, when he's getting pressed by two Everton players at that point, to put his foot on the ball, scan for options, try and pick a pass, when all our team, bar Nunes and Salah, so boosted out for a goal kick. What was
literally launched the ball?
That was what. But you've just moaned that Trent done that. You've literally just 30 seconds ago went, why was Trent booting up?
He tried. No, I was just making an observation saying that he tried to play Darwin in and it didn't work. And that's what we were doing rather than just booting it as far as you could and hopefully let it go out. Pickford gets a reset. Everyone resets.
Sorry, you're moaning about a lack of control in extra time. And then you want us to do the thing that we've done, which you were saying didn't give us enough control.
In that one particular scenario, that's an observation. But ultimately, we were not controlling extra time. We weren't.
Yeah, listen, I hear you on that. I want to go to some of the comments and I want to throw it out to you guys because I don't want to leave these too long. Forget all the fouls that happened in the game. If you think that Beto fouled Konaté, you should seriously think about watching another score.
How can I forget about the fouls in the game when that's literally the premise of my argument?
Go look at every single Luis Diaz foul this game.
Everton had 20 free kicks. We had 6. Everton had 20. We had 6.
Okay. That because you only need to know 20 to 6.
Can I play devil's advocate for a minute here? So this is me being host, not making a statement.
Don't be the devil.
No, I have to play the devil's advocate but I have to declare it because there are some silly toaster people that watch these shows that go, Terry asked a question, that means he believes it. Some of the pushes that you're talking about, isn't it fair to say that in the box there's always a higher threshold than in other parts of the pitch? And that's why the one on Konaté wasn't given.
Did I not say it's a foul given the context of this game? That's it. Because the problem, okay, so I'll give you a perfect example. The Robertson push, where he done this to Idris Kanagay. This is considered a push. If Oliver didn't give that and didn't give the Konaté one, we'll understand.
What part of the pitch was that in, though? I'm asking that question. When he pushes Konaté.
I think it was like halfway line.
In middle of the park. This is my point. No, that's not my point. It's a question I'm asking, really. We see regularly those types of pushes and fouls in the middle of the park given. We rarely see them given in the box on defenders. And you never, ever, maybe 99 times, you never see them given as penalties in the other direction. We all know, rightly or wrongly, there is a different threshold inside the box, outside the box. There's a different threshold to what a defender can do to a centre-back and what a striker can do to a defender. We've all...
That's not how Oliver called the game today. That's the point.
Fair to say that's typically how football is done?
I have how Oliver called the game today, and the first goal shouldn't have happened to begin with.
Okay, but we've never seen consistency in the box to in midfield. Like, I don't have an issue with the second goal. Like, Tarkowski should not have a fucking free volley in the box in the 98th minute. It's that simple. I'm not gonna turn around and say that Konaté was soft. He should not be getting that volley. The ball should never be coming into the box.
It's a great goal, guys, isn't it?
Beautiful goal, but that should never happen.
Beautiful.
Should never happen, regardless of referees. Like, dude, if he had called that, I would have been like, yeah, you know what, soft call, but I don't care because I'm 9 points top.
I get that. Samuel, he wasn't booked for the push. He was booked for kicking the ball away. That's what he was booked for. He was booked for kicking the ball away. So yeah,
Robertson kicked the ball away after.
The ball away. Yeah. This here says Konaté went up for the header and was pushed in the back mid-air, and the PGMOL and you lot all ignore it. Going back to Bournemouth doesn't justify the decision. That I didn't mention that in the Bournemouth game. What I was talking about was the supposed foul on Mo Salah in the build-up. I've said I need to see, they haven't. I don't know about you lot. The replays here in England didn't show that after the goal went in. So my head might have been down setting up the show at that time. I'm stating that we saw a foul in the build-up to the goal against Bournemouth, and they didn't go back to it. I bet that's what they're going to tell us. But I'd just like to see the foul myself, right? That's what I'm saying. But the push on Konaté has nothing to do with the Bournemouth game. So the reason I went back to the Bournemouth match was for a case in point as to why VAR doesn't go back. It's like the first foul for the first goal. I'm looking at the replay you've sent me, Mike. It's not a foul. However,
he doesn't even touch him.
Yeah, what I will say is that there's no recourse to change the decision. It's we have seen we have seen 100 fouls like that in the league. If you look at the angle of the ref, yeah, exactly. So it's I get why it's annoying though. This was a proper derby. What a game, drama and a fight. That was a proper rivalry. Loved it more. Love more of that is what Jerome says. Yeah, it was special. It was special. This is Liverpool that cheats. I don't know why they're saying that, but there we go. I swear,
cheated our way to a draw. Attaboy.
Yeah. I swear, Don has an Arsenal jersey with all that ref talk. Welcome to Arsenal, behalf of our fan. Sorry. Welcome to Arsenal on behalf of our fan base, Don. It's a pleasure to have you. Sit back and enjoy.
You're literally speaking to the wrong guy. I've always been fair when it comes to refereeing decisions.
Arsenal have been hard done by this season too, but like Arsenal are in panic mode right now. They're doing emergency streams because Havertz is out for the season. Is this the enemy that I'm supposed to be so petrified of coming up against me? Like the result today is the result, but 7 points is still 7 points.
The difference, right? Because Arsenal fans talk about referees all
the
point
of today's result is not being 7 points ahead. They killed our momentum. We were leaving Everton with 3 points, and
that's one way to view it. Or you could say that this kind of result with this ending could galvanize these guys to say, you know what, fuck you, fuck the FA, fuck the PGMOL. We were hard done by. Now we're gonna go for everyone's throats. Like I could flip the coin on you.
Okay, no problem. If that's your logic, I don't mind. I hope you're right.
It's just the opposite end, Husam. I get your logic, but the flip side is it galvanizes you to say, ain't nobody going to hand us anything. We have to destroy everyone. We need to make it undeniable.
We'll see how we feel by this time next week. We beat Villa and Wolves. This result doesn't look as bad, but it's still a disgrace from Oliver. I'm not changing my opinion on that.
Of course, I'm not blaming you for that.
Here's the thing. When it comes to a game like this, you have to call it the same way for both teams. It's a derby, okay? If you're going to give a push here, give a push there. And it's not just the goal itself. It's the whole game. Like for a 90-minute game, like we got pushed and shoved and no fouls were given. You said it yourself. 20 fouls for Everton, 6 fouls for Liverpool. The way that
free kicks, yeah. Free kicks, yeah.
Like if I showed someone who doesn't know like the result of the game today and didn't watch it, he'd think like if no one watched, let's say someone didn't watch the Liverpool Everton game and I told him, yo, one team had 20 fouls and the other had 6, he'd probably said the other way around. He'd probably said Everton had 20 fouls because they're even the more aggressive team. But the game wasn't called the same way throughout, and that's the thing that I have a problem with. If you want to give a shove here, give it there, or don't give it at all. Referee it old school, you know. Like sometimes when referees let things go for a derby, a bit more physicality, it's okay. I don't mind that, but don't like do it one way, and one way the other way. Like it just doesn't work.
I understand that. What about the calls that Everton are asking for? For instance, Bradley needing the second yellow and the potential handball from Konaté. What's your take?
Well, the handball wasn't. It was Beto who had the handball, and Bradley's first yellow is the softest thing ever. Even the announcer said it. He doesn't touch him, but the crowd goes crazy, and because the crowd goes crazy, Michael Oliver didn't see it, but he thinks, okay, they're all going nuts. Let me just pull out a yellow card because he shoulder bumped him. He didn't even touch him. He literally shoulder bumped him. That's it.
And in reverse, I can actually claim that Idris Ganagay should have been sent off because after his yellow, he stopped a counterattack.
He had a cynical foul. If Cody Gakpo just went down, that was a second yellow, but he tried to stay up. He tried to continue the play. Yeah. Should have gone down.
I feel the referee tonight, there were certain yellows he gave that weren't yellow. For instance, McAllister's foul on whoever it was that burst through the middle and broke through the line. That for me was more of a yellow than Conor Bradley's that came like a minute later.
Agreed.
That for me is where I'm sitting there going, well, he's obviously broke a line. You've seen the foul. It was studs showing and he touched his knee, but it was very minor contact. I just thought that was probably more of other than Curtis Jones's yellow, I thought that was the most yellow card foul of the night and it wasn't given. So I do agree that Oliver made some mistakes tonight. There's no doubt about it. This is so funny. This is Nick, who's a gooner. He says, the PR from my club will build a statue for Tarkowski beside Bergkamp if Liverpool bottle this.
You still need to win all of your game. Like, Arsenal still need to go 14 for 14. Yeah. Like, I don't understand this.
Sorry, go on, mate. No, go on.
So the problem is that Arsenal have to go perfect. Like, don't get me wrong. If we would have won today, in my opinion, it would have been all over, right? But it's still, they have the gap is the margin for error for them is this big. They have very little margin for error, in my opinion. Yes, they've got injuries. Their fan base is losing the plot left, right, and centre, having emergency streams all over the place, crying about literally every. People will have disputes about the refereeing decisions today. Fair enough, but Arsenal fans have an inquest after every single game. You have people saying the difference between Liverpool and Arsenal is only based on refereeing decisions and injuries, which is a complete and utter horseshit. But that's them. And ultimately, we have it in our own hand. If we bottle it, then we are to blame and not referees. You have to overcome adversity sometimes. We didn't do it today, but I'm confident over the rest of the remaining 14 games, we'll do enough to win it. Because A, I don't think they're good enough. And B, I think we are good enough. They have to come to our place. I'm still very confident. I don't see why I should worry. I would have really liked the extra 2 points.
I'm not worried about Arsenal yet.
I'm worried about us, not Arsenal.
Even if I was worried about us, I don't. With the situation Arsenal are in, I don't think they've got it in them to do 8 points on us over the rest of the season. That's a stone cold.
We would have to collapse. Yeah. It would be us handing them.
But even if we were to collapse, like let's say we dropped 14 points to end the season, I don't see where Arsenal has to go away to Nottingham Forest with no Saka, no Martinelli, no Havertz. Forest was a tough game for us. It's going to be a really tough game for Arsenal. They've got to come away to Anfield.
Who's the third red card? Jones, Slot, and who?
The assistant manager.
And we've got Johnny Heitinga managing us.
And Johnny Heitinga's can manage us.
Johnny Heitinga's managing us against Wolves because Arnie Slot got sent off for a handshake.
Well, it wasn't just a handshake, Tom. If you go back and you watch it, he clearly called you see you next Tuesday. He literally walked up to him and looked him right in the eye.
Now we're sending off managers for stating facts. We're sending off managers.
I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. He should do that.
I'm proud of him as well. I hope he insulted like everything about Michael Oliver because it's a disgraceful thing.
You know what? As well, you know what?
I lost my head.
Like Curtis Jones deserves so much credit for what he done at the end there. Curtis Jones deserves so much credit for what he done at the end there. I'm not having any of their fucking players celebrating in front of our fans like that. I'm glad he fucking stuck it to them. Too right, he should.
I'm just surprised Nunes didn't throw a punch.
Nunes, he was completely ineffectual when he came on. Didn't do anything. I don't know.
Why are your opinions recently? Like today, Nunes wasn't even bad. Like he actually was involved in the second goal. And now you're coming and saying, it wasn't that. I literally have Arsenal fans agreeing with me.
If you're going to blame, anyone,
let me just read your comment from an
Do you think Nunes was good when he came on?
Rax, this is the enemy agreeing. Listen to this. I'm an Arsenal fan. Yes, the result benefits us, but I will not let that blind me to the fact that Oliver is a insult. We have been screwed by him so much that we expect this nonsense. I'll keep my energy consistent. You have been screwed. I knew it was over for Liverpool the moment you had Oliver in that game.
Okay, but that proves that he does have a vested interest in continuing his Oliver agenda as well, right?
Okay, but every ref has been bad. No one has had a good officiated game this season. Not a single game has been officiated properly the whole year. Every single referee should be binned. They should be going to different countries, finding different people, and getting different referees because they all suck. The VAR sucks. The referees suck. The fourth official sucks. The lineman, the linesmen suck. It's like you can't do that. Ultimately, we got outdone in the midfield. We weren't able to impose ourselves throughout the full 90 minutes. That's on us. The defending, that's on us regardless of the referees. Konaté should be doing better in both scenarios. Trent should be doing better. Virgil should be doing better in keeping Beto offside. I mean, he's the one who ends up keeping him on by a hair length. Also, why don't we have semi-automated? Why is that a line that's just basically arbitrarily drawn with no contact?
Mike, it gets better. It gets better. Decore was onside by the 5 centimeter give that they have in the Premier League. So if that was semi-automated, you know, I don't know what.
I think he was off personally. I think he was off. But it is what it is.
Apparently, he was onside because the 5 centimeters of tolerance.
Yeah, look, guy. What? I get
we can't. We're just making. Tom, we don't know about stuff. We're just making stuff up, right? Maybe not.
Tom, like, listen, I understand the frustration. What I would say about a lot of things you're saying is they're fine. I would just ask for this energy, whether you get hurt or benefit from them, because this is what happened. The reason why, though, everything Mike said is true about the referees not being good, not improving, etc., is because whenever it's someone you don't like who gets hurt by them, we all join in with we cry more, blame your team, accountability is the best ability. What we actually all need to do is when you got those decisions against Bournemouth the other week, you guys should have had this vim. Praise your team, celebrate the win, but have this vim for VAR. I've said it for 4 years now. Until we all come together to call them out when we benefit and when we get hurt, we're never going to force the hand of the people running it because they know they can get away with it. Because tonight, and the same will happen now, most people are going to laugh at you guys for moaning about it instead of saying Liverpool are right, the referees are bad, as an example. I'm going to go to Sam in a minute. I want to go to some more of these super chats here. This question says, why was Gravenberch subbed?
Because he wasn't getting involved in the game. We weren't using.
Yeah,
we weren't going to build up through him. The only mistake Arnie Slot made today, in my opinion, because I don't disagree with how we set up. You're not going to dominate a game at Goodison with the story. The only mistake he made was the final sub. You had to bring Endo on. You had to bring Endo on. Someone who will actually get stuck into a challenge.
Endo.
Jota coming on for Diaz. He did nothing. He was never going to do anything. We didn't want to attack after we went 2-1 up. You needed to bring someone on to give you that extra bit of bite in the midfield. Because even just for the goal at the end, Endo would have been sniffing out danger. That's what he's very good at. I doubt the ball makes it to Tarkowski if Endo's on the pitch instead of Jota. That's just the one mistake that I think Slot's kept making this season. He made the same mistake against Newcastle. When we took the lead late on, he didn't bring Endo on to close out the game. And that's what he's best at, Endo. He can kill the game like that. He's street smart. So that's the only mistake I saw him making today.
That makes sense. Liverpool acting like they won't lose a game either. Haven't won a game in 3 against shit teams.
Do you know, this is such a stupid comment because...
We will drop points. We will drop points. The difference is, can Arsenal drop less points or equal or more? I think Arsenal are probably likely to drop more points than we are. That's why I'm comfortable. We will drop points. I'm not saying we're going to win 14 games in a row. We've only done that, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times in our history. Why would I expect that now? The thing is, Arsenal, I don't think Arsenal are capable of doing it either.
Sam, what were you going to say?
It's such a stupid comment because when you have a 7-point buffer, that means we have still got margin for error. You don't. So we might have to win a certain amount of games, but you practically have to win nearly every one of your games. If you drop points, your next game is done. It's over.
They have to win 13 games.
There we go.
I'm sorry. 12. If they win 12, they're pretty much mathematically, because we're going to drop more points. So if they win 12 out of 14, you know, I would say holy shit. But that's 12 out of 14.
Yeah, don't worry about us.
I hear that.
Don't worry about us.
We're not worried. We're not worried.
Hey, you're on the Liverpool fan reaction.
No, I'm here. I'm here to put respect on Everton's name because I remember we were on a top 6 show, Terry, where I was the only panelist, excluding yourself, who didn't actually get into the conversation. But everybody who was there was telling me Liverpool are going to slap Everton, and I said the last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park, Everton have something for them. And if they played the last time before the weather delay, there would have been injuries to Konaté. There would have been McAllister red card. It could have been a lot worse. It got moved. They played them today. Liverpool were in a much better situation than they were going into that game, and they still dropped points. This is a Merseyside derby. I just want to say, people put respect on Everton's name, because a lot of people are making it seem like, oh, Liverpool just had a disaster. Everton, for them to get a point out of this game versus the champions, they're down there. They're a much superior team, Liverpool. I don't think Everton get enough credit for that. And everyone just paints it as an absolute disaster for Liverpool. But this is a derby. This is a derby. You guys need to remember.
I don't care.
You guys need to remember that this is a derby, and anything can happen in these games. And almost you guys come into this game.
Yeah, Michael Oliver.
You guys came into this game.
Happen in the game.
A lot of you guys came into this game with the mentality that it was a slam dunk, 3 points. It's Everton. But
I'm gonna go after.
No, maybe not you. Maybe not you, Tom. But the way that the people I was speaking to, they were almost guaranteeing this game as a W already. They were counting the 3 points. They were counting.
Similar to when Arsenal played Arsenal played Everton at the Emirates, it was the same kind of thing, right? Do you agree?
No, Tom, let them go.
I said it from when I played them. I think Everton's a decent team.
Yes.
I think they lack goals. That's the only issue they have. They lack goals. They're a decent team. They're really good defensively. And overall, I thought a lot of people were saying Liverpool already 9 points clear. So I just wanted to come on here and say, respect your opponents, or else this could happen for the remainder of the season. Because I feel like you guys
are you worried about when you play them in a few weeks?
Guys, can I go to Samuel? Samuel wants to respond. Let's want to go to Samuel on this. Sorry.
Yeah, no, because it's very ludicrous that you're coming on. You're coming on about this, about what you're talking about, respecting our opponents. First of all, the actual game, we should have won that game. End of.
So why didn't you win?
Have anything on us?
Huh? So why didn't you win? Why didn't you win?
Because of the referee.
Oh, so they're allowed to say that now.
Oh, yeah, no. We were saying that last season. Remember when you were saying to us last season when Odegaard was playing basketball in the box, oh, we shouldn't worry about referees. Now when it comes to you lot this season, this is when you want to cry. But when I'm keeping the same.
So what's the conspiracy? They're trying to keep the title race close.
Before that, about the referees, and we were telling you the referees were rubbish. You weren't trying to hear that. Remember?
I'm not trying to hear about referees. Get out of here, bro. I'm the first one screaming.
You only started speaking about referees this season.
No, I didn't. Terry can
vouch
for that.
Oh my word! Where were you last season then?
Last season when Doku got kicked in the chest, I think I came on the show and I said that's a disgrace.
You didn't come on the show when Odegaard handballed the ball.
Last year when Odegaard got the handball, I said, you know what? This should have been given as a penalty.
When? Where did you say that? Where did you say that?
On the terrace myself. I don't know if Terry has that kind of memory where he remember every word.
I was there on the terrace
on every match reaction. But
I was there on the terrace that day. I did not hear you say a word.
You want me to go pull up the video? We can have this conversation next time.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I will say this. I don't remember the one about the handball, but I've definitely seen Egal. But no, I don't remember. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I have seen Egal call out other refereeing decisions. It recently is the Man United Arsenal game where he said the referee tried to screw Man United. So I have seen that on occasions. To be fair, go find that clip, Egal, because I want to do some more of these super chats. Rich of Liverpool fans to bitch about refs. Liverpool fans are quick to criticize Arsenal players when a controversial decision is given.
Because we don't say that our season depends on referee decisions. That's what we don't say.
I hear that. Bradley Red, Konaté handball, Everton robbed, vote reform. Right at the end, vote. They were not voting reform. Jesus. I think it was an even game, to be honest. Liverpool wasn't great, nor was Everton, so a draw was a fair result. I know Husam's not crying about blowing the whistle late. You got 10 invented minutes versus Plymouth. Liverpool bottled it. Own up to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but we didn't. Who? Okay, it doesn't even matter.
I am a little bit confused about that because the head clash was in the 94th minute. They scored in the 98th minute. There was 1 minute left in the game. That should have blown
the whistle 3 minutes before the
exactly.
Goal
so I'm a bit confused about that.
Yeah, but the ball should never have been put into the box.
Oliver likes to be main character.
I understand that, but if the referee did his job, he should have blown the whistle.
I wish someone punched him in the face.
I was talking about the ref. Gabriel against Newcastle was pushed 2 hands in the back, way more severe. Newcastle goal wasn't ruled out. Refs are poor, but for everyone is what Mikey N says. Jacob Davidson says Arsenal fans complain because they have a legitimate reason to. Liverpool experienced their first bit of controversy and the fans are crumbling.
This is why we get our Arsenal fans. This is why. This is
what he wanted.
We just forgetting about the hand of Rodri.
Like
what?
Everyone thinks their reasons are legitimate. Everyone thinks their reasons are legitimate. The thing is, it seems to be a coincidence that Arsenal fans think it happens much more to them. There is always inconsistency. The difference is, you still have to deal with adversity, and Arsenal fans say the referees ruled against us, and this adversity is insurmountable. It's not insurmountable. You still have to do your thing.
Arsenal have four out of 6 forwards injured, 2 for the whole season, 1 in 5 months.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mikey. Please, can Rack please remind us when Arsenal last cried about refs, since it's every week?
Oh, you know what? Great timing. Go and watch Egal stream yesterday. He moaned. He literally said, and he's tweeted about it, he said the only reason, the difference between Liverpool and Arsenal is injuries and refereeing decisions. And you confirmed that, right, Egal?
Rack, you don't even need
there
to
you go. On the JIFC,
I'll give all of the answer he wants. 2 Premier League games ago, when Michael Oliver sent off Mars Lewis Skelly, that was the last time Arsenal complained about the referees. 2 Premier League games ago.
Liverpool blaming refs, like, I understand it. It's frustrating, but Everton were missing their best players today. Like, McNeil wasn't there. Their captain wasn't there. I think Peter Drury listed off. There's like 5 players that were injured. They're in 16th place. We shouldn't be putting ourselves in a position to be blaming refs, even when they are to blame. Like, that's that.
But this is where I do agree with Egal. It is a Merseyside derby. They are going to be up for the game no matter who's going to play. It's not going to be when you're
the top of the world. I don't care. When you're the #1 team in the world, I don't care what derby it is.
Come on.
I watched my team get 99 points and nearly lose the derby at Goodison. We do not play well at Goodison. You never do well at Goodison Park. It is their cup final. It is the one game they give a shit about in a season.
Is it only 2
they will
wins
always turn up for this, and we are never going. The only time we were able to batter them in recent years was when Rafa Benitez was the manager, and they didn't want him. He didn't want them. It was an absolute shit show.
I'm not saying
when
they're
all pulling
I'm not
on the
saying
same
that. I'm not saying that we should go there and win
fine.
4-0, Tom. I'm not saying that we should go there and just absolutely destroy them. But like, if you're going to pile on the excuses one way, well, then you need to add the same amount of context the other. If you're going to blame the refs, well, then also talk about the fact that they're missing 5 players. Like, you can't have it both ways.
How does the fact they're missing Calvert-Lewin mean the referee gives them a dodgy decision?
You're not understanding. It's not like for like. It's context added to the situation. Like, yes, it's a derby, but also they're significantly weakened. Yes, the refereeing decision was poor, but you're the best team in the world. Like,
I've seen Liverpool.
There needs to be trade-offs.
I got evidence still win
that
games.
I called out the refereeing decision on the day
against Liverpool. Still win games.
They keep talking about this Liverpool handball. It's so annoying. They keep mentioning the handball. So I got evidence for you. Also, while you're at it, I'll tell you this, guys. You guys can complain about refereeing decisions. We can complain about refereeing decisions. Everyone can complain about refereeing decisions. At the end of the day, these referees are shit and they're not going to improve. They're never going to be held accountable. Whatever mistake they make, they seem to be it just seems to be just thrown under the carpet, and there's no reform. There's no level of accountability, and they could make a mistake every single game for the rest of the season. They will still be able to be allowed to ref the next game.
But the difference is, Egal, you and other people come and actually say it's a conspiracy and that there is actual.
You know what the conspiracy now is? They want to keep
there is corrupt. No, there's a difference between referees making mistakes. I don't think anybody here is saying there's actual corruption. The difference is Arsenal fans think there is actual corruption.
Because there's been too many errors that have happened from similar players. No. The thing that Arsenal fans are saying is that there's bias. There's referees that might have clear biases because of issues with Arteta and the PGMOL.
I've been on streams where you yourself have used the word corruption.
Yeah, because I'm emotional. I can say things that are ridiculous.
But
at
Egal,
times.
the thing is, I can agree with you.
That's fine.
main
If you want to say
argument-
ridiculous things, then
The
fine.
main argument is that there's similar to how you guys had David Coote, who had a clear bias against Liverpool,
That's what I was-
even
I
though
was
he's a
talking,
Premier League referee. I think there's other Premier League referees out there that have biases. And as for Liverpool this season,
You're saying that based on no evidence
last season you
whatsoever.
guys were
You're
hard
based
done by
on
referees.
but you're saying that
Last
based
year
on
you
no
guys were
evidence
done hard by
whatsoever.
injuries, but when Arsenal say the same thing, we've now been hard done by injuries. We now have multiple injuries in the same position. We now have multiple games where we can point at and say this small margins is the reason why we've dropped points. It's not something to look at and be like, you know what, they might have a point. How is a referee making that big of an error in this game and is swinging the whole 3 points? But yeah, Terry, I can show Samuel this clip.
Yeah,
no,
we're going to show that in just a second. I just want to say I've just seen the clip of the foul on Mo Salah and just been tweeting about it. 100% a foul, so it should have been given in the build-up to the goal. My tweet though to and I've tweeted the PGMOL. I'm consistent on this, and I've said to them just like the Justin Kluivert foul in the build-up to Liverpool's penalty versus Bournemouth. Why on earth hasn't this been checked by the PGMOL? I want to know why they don't go back and check that, because I don't think if it's like 3 or 4 minutes, I understand. I think it was within a minute and a half of that circumstance. Maybe a minute and a half is too long. I don't know, but I'd love to understand what their rationale is and what the time cutoff is. Maybe, and that's something they should probably have. There should be a time marker. If they said it's 40 seconds. If it's outside 40 seconds, then none of us can moan. But for me, that's no different. And I moaned about the I keep saying Patrick Kluivert. I moaned about the Justin Kluivert one. I'm going to keep the energy now. I've seen that. 100% that should have been a foul. No doubt about it. 100%.
And also, just quickly,
and that's where the frustration comes from. You know, all of us on the panel, the Liverpool fans, we haven't said nothing about referees this whole season. Like literally nothing. Even in games where we could only point out a thing or two, but we haven't. Like we haven't done it, you know. Like even the Robertson one, like the Nalo red card, even in Europe, like we had moments, but we didn't say anything because we know like we need to do better. But today's game, I'm sorry, like I wanted to come here and say how Salah should win the Ballon d'Or and how he's the best player on the planet because he did something out of nothing. Like without him, by the way, this is 2-0 Everton. Like easily, this is 2-0 Everton. Like he's just. Him and McAllister for me like deserve 10 out of 10 and respect like from all the players because both of them cooked today. McAllister was elite and Salah was elite today on the football pitch. Those two I think were levels above everyone else. And you know, it's just frustrating because we didn't even 1 hour and 12 minutes into the stream we spoke about the football for 6 minutes, and there's a reason for that because of what Michael Oliver did today.
I tried.
And
just adding on match program. They had Arteta on the match program. Big up the Toffees.
Just quickly, this is why I was confused because when I with the injury time, when I looked at the time,
let Leicester beat Arsenal this Saturday. Watch what we do.
Could you imagine? Oh my God!
Even with their injuries, we should still be able to beat them.
No, I saw it at the 94th minute.
Famous last words.
No, I didn't guarantee.
What happens if they draw and we win?
Listen, the title race is going to be coming down to if Liverpool drop points. It's not about if Arsenal. It's not about if Arsenal can maintain it or not. We can maintain it from now to the end of the season. If you guys still only lose one more game or drop points in one more game, we're never going to catch you guys. And the next 3 games is the biggest adversity we're going to have because we're not going to have many attacking players. Saka and Martinelli are not going to probably come back until mid-March. So if we can weather the storm for the next 2 to 3 games, then maybe we can have a conversation. But the reality is it's Liverpool's league to win.
I'm not laughing at you, Egal. I was laughing. So it's completely different. I was laughing at Robbie Williams posted saying that he's been asked to do the Super Bowl halftime show next year, which is great because they're a very English person. And someone first, why? And some of you are not going to get this because you're not going to know who he is. But it was a picture of a man peering through a window looking really creepy. So I'm saying this is going to be Jonathan Wilkes outside the stadium. And if you know who Jonathan Wilkes is, he was like just some guy that used to tag along with sorry. I wanted to explain why I was laughing so nobody thought I was laughing at Egal. I will play your video in a minute. I just want to do these super chats. Yeah, Amir Bell says, big love from the United States. We love you, Terry. Big up yourself, Amir. Agree with Tom 100%. I wanted to see Endo on for Diaz, then drop into a 4-4-2 with Salah and Nunez up top. All Arsenal fans always cry about refs, but apparently Arsenal fans never cry about refs before this season. Which is it? Always or just this season is what Wayne's saying. Yeah. Arsenal in the top 4 race. Chill. Come on, you gooners.
They need to chill with that.
Can Liverpool fans just enjoy putting the Premier League in the bag and not make PGMOL incompetence Arsenal versus Liverpool banter?
I'm not. My anger today is not about a potential title. That's not what my anger is about today. I think we'll have lost the title on other games if we were to lose it. My anger today is the fact that we should have beaten Everton in the final derby at Goodison Park, and I would have been able to hold that over their heads forever. And I felt like the referee stopped that from happening.
This is a great comment.
Yeah, so this conversation is exactly why refs are going to be held are never going to be held accountable in the Premier League. We never learn as fans for this game. And I would remember, listen, and I think every fan base is the same predominantly in this. When it goes against us, we want to talk about it. When it goes against a rival, we enjoy and bask in it. And I do think that's a problem.
But this is exactly why with the comment, I was with Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans have had a lot of decisions against them this season which were dubious, right? When I switch off is when Arsenal fans say we're the victims. Like it only happens to them. That's where I switch off. And that kind of language being used is where you got other people turn against you and say, wait, it doesn't only happen to you. It happens to others as well.
No. But 1 second, nobody's saying it doesn't happen to other clubs. We're just saying
when you
the amount of times it's happened to Arsenal this season, bro. They've literally implemented a rule, only punished Arsenal to the severest level, and then retracted the rule mid-season. That is going to piss people off.
Of course, that's gonna make people angry. But what I'm trying to say to you is that how many red cards have you had this season?
We've had 2 red cards due to kicking the ball away, which they've stopped doing. We've also had a red card with Saliba, which in the same weekend we've seen 2 other centre backs do a similar thing.
That was against us.
Correction. You got 2 yellow cards, 2 second yellow cards. You didn't get red cards. You got second yellow.
Okay, 2 second yellows.
So they committed an offence before, and then they kicked the ball away, which is a yellow card offence. Just
so let me get to the.
I'm disputing the point. I'm not disputing the point that Arsenal play victim. I'm not disputing that. I'm disputing your point where you say we only call out Arsenal. No, majority of Arsenal fans call out refereeing decisions across the board, even when it favors us. And to the point where we will go on shows after a win or a loss and be like, you know what, the referees shouldn't have given Crystal Palace, shouldn't have called back Crystal Palace's goal a couple years ago. Manchester United should have been given a penalty against us in the we shouldn't have been given a penalty against Manchester United in the FA Cup. Also, the handball against Liverpool. You constantly keep harping on about that handball, all you Liverpool fans. Majority of Arsenal fans, including myself, in real time said that was a penalty and you should have been given that penalty. And if Terry plays the video, you can see that this is what I said.
Just play the video after the play.
His hand was so low to the ground that you can tell that it was not intentional. To me, I would be screaming for a penalty if this was me. So I completely understand why Liverpool fans are aggrieved by this. That's it. You don't need to hear anything else. I completely understood why you guys are angry. I completely agreed with you guys that it's a penalty. And at that point, what can we do? We can't give you a penalty out of fairness of the sport. Game moves on. The referee made a mistake. We acknowledge the referee made a mistake as fans, and you guys still harp on about it for 2 years later. But it's funny how you can't name too many decisions that have gone our way.
Quickly, let me just say this. I thought you said it on the Football Terrace because that's what
I looked back to see if I found the Terrace video. Okay. I think that day I was working night shift or something.
Okay, that's what I was thinking because I was there on the Football Terrace that day and I didn't see you.
You were.
So if you said it on your channel, fair enough. But what I'm trying to say is that my point was that last season, everything that happened to Arsenal this season has happened to Liverpool last season. Everything.
And you know something? I didn't give Liverpool stick last season.
But you still said Liverpool bottled it.
No. Let me finish. When Liverpool got injuries to Mo Salah and a bunch of your players after game week 24, I think a lot of people actually said, you know what, this is understable. You have all these injuries,
even know the game week?
Man City and Arsenal.
How do you even know the game week? What?
No, because we recently looked at it. Remember?
Yeah, guys. I've got a few more super chats to do here. First one from Josh says, "Funny they complain about missed calls that happen all the time. Once in a generational call is what I am more concerned about, is what Josh says here.
I never get the narrative about that. So we should, if the referees are making constant mistakes, let's just keep letting them make the constant mistakes. And then what? We just keep promoting poor standards. The whole point is you don't want referees making mistakes like that. I don't care if it... I would still be moaning about it if Tarkowski hit the bar. Because I don't see how, with everything... Diaz committed 6 fouls today. 5 of them were for pushes on the defender. And yet, in the last minute, when we're defending across, they push our defender in the back and it's nothing. That's just where the anger is.
I hear that. This here from Tg, I think that's how it's pronounced. Tg says, how do football fans not understand it's always announced as a minimum amount of time added on?
Yeah, correct.
And Mikey here says there is evidence of bias. Terry has stats of Michael Oliver's poor decisions against Arsenal, miles more penalties and red cards than any other season. Not saying it's just us, but this is my thing, Mikey. Yeah. So I think biases exist. I'm not sure if they're long-standing. We've actually heard Gary Neville and other ex-referees talk about how they've held grudges against teams. But again, this is the thing. This is what I get why Liverpool fans are saying I'm glad that Arne Slot went up to Michael Oliver and did what he did. There is now a chance that after Slot clearly gripped him up, there's a way of shaking hands. There's a way of shaking hands to be nice, and there's a way of shaking someone's hand to say, I'm going to do you. We've all seen that famous scene of George Groves and Carl Froch, a bit of a push and a pull.
Push and pull.
We can all have a bit of a push and a pull. We all know that, right? You may now find that Oliver thinks you prick, and maybe it only lasts one game. Maybe his anger dies down tomorrow. Maybe it lasts a year or two. I do think referees hold biases against clubs, against fan bases for things they say and they do. What I don't think ever is there is an outright conspiracy to stop a particular club or to help a particular club. I don't believe in that. And I think that's where these conversations always get a little bit lost. It's just us. No, it isn't. We're the only ones that get biased against us. No, you're not. It does exist, but I don't think it's widespread. That's why I think we all have to come together. But tribalism is tribalism.
Agreed. I'll tell you what, can't wait for the Liverpool Arsenal game at the end of the season when they put Michael Oliver as the referee for that game.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Arsenal get 4 penalties. Arsenal get 4 penalties at the cup end, just to get, and then at the end, Oliver just shakes Slot's hand like that.
Yeah. The thing about these stats that super chat. Look, thanks for the super chat and all that kind of stuff. But that's not the way to assess whether a referee's biased or not, right? Because just because Arsenal have 8 red cards, how many of those red cards were actually wrong? That's when you decide whether potentially there's a bias or potential. If all of those red cards were legitimately given as absolute red cards, you can't say, "Oh, he's given 8 red cards and 2 for Liverpool." And
only one was considered legitimately wrong.
Sorry,
only one was rescinded.
Okay, one was rescinded. Okay, fine. And then same with the yellow cards. You can only decide this when you go through each individual incident and attribute.
They no longer give those as yellow cards. They no longer give those as yellow cards. What? On a consistent basis. At the time, it was a league-wide mandate where they were trying to enforce it. Now I'm not
talking about that. I'm just talking about the super chat guys.
Yeah, Egal, that doesn't indicate bias per se. That's a problem with refereeing. Do you remember a few years ago where they were giving handballs? I remember Eric Dyer conceded one where if their arms were out by the sides of defenders, even if they weren't looking to hit their arms, they were giving them. And I always remember loads of our callers on the shows were like, I hate this because they're giving penalties right now the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. They're going to end up taking it away. But you've already damaged then the integrity of the league because some teams have dropped points because of that. And that's where I think Arsenal's gripe is. They have certainly slowed down the volume of players booked for delaying restarts outside of the opening 4 or 5 weeks of the Premier League season. We still see it done because today, again, we're not sure whether... When they say kicking the ball away, I'm not sure whether Robertson has been booked for delaying the restart or dissent, because both can be true when it comes to kicking the ball away, but they've certainly slowed that down. That's where the study needs to be. And I think that, again, it's about people having time and the money to do it. A study needs to be done into this. The data needs to be found, and that needs to be put together into something to challenge, given to the FA to challenge the PGMOL, because I think they do need to look into these things. Some of it will be
Arnie Stark got a red card.
Yes, because he gripped up the ref.
And also, I do want to see
some of these things are bad rules that they implement, and then they go, shit, we've got to take them away. But I've always had a problem with that. I know that we don't want to see bad rules, but I feel like that does damage the integrity of the game, because people have already been punished because of those rules earlier on in the season. So should you not have to keep it the same for the entirety of that season? I don't know. I mean, it's a debate to be had. I think
I was going to say, because I also want to see how when the rules change, when it changes in the season, because I see a pattern where, especially when it comes to Arsenal, a lot of the decisions that they were getting against them were happening early on in the season. Am I correct in saying that? So I think they looked at those decisions that they were giving and thinking, okay, these decisions are a little bit ridiculous, and then start changing them towards the middle of the season and to the end of the season. It might be the same for other seasons as well, where they see early on in the season when they're giving these decisions and thinking, wait, hold on, there's a problem here. Let's just change it throughout the season. I just want to see like when they start changing most of these rules.
Quick question: Does Slot miss 3 games or just one?
Just one.
Yeah, unless conduct.
Unless he said something absolutely horrendous, it'll be the Arsenal players during that time period. Hence the bias / corruption claims. No consistency is what we are calling out. Rack. It's not.
I agree. There's not consistency. I agree. There's not consistency. There's not consistency. Correct.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that. Look, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. It's been an interesting match reaction. I've never done a Liverpool one where we spoke about referees the whole time. Genuinely. I don't remember the last time we did. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in, everyone who's super chatted. I think you're all absolutely amazing. Thank you to my panel, everyone who's come onto the show and given us their thoughts and opinions on today's game. I will end it by saying this. There's a lot of to and fro's. There's things I've even changed my mind about during the stream because I've seen replays again. But I actually thought that was a brilliant derby as a neutral. Some great tackles, some goals, a bit of controversy. That's why we love the Premier League. Oh, sorry, Red Indians coming here saying Arsenal fans will cry to get cards when they deserve it most of the time, when they try to say it's the dark arts, but they get booked. It's for cheating, is what Red Indian says here. You don't really get, the thing is, I don't think they've got the time wasting yellow cards are all legit, there's no doubt. But I don't think has anyone been sent off for Arsenal who's been booked for time wasting and then got sent off for a second yellow?
I don't know.
Would you classify Keith as time wasting?
Yeah, but Tommy Ash is one of those examples where I think he was already on a yellow. No, he got booked for like taking too long to take a throw. This was like 3 years ago. Yeah. And then he committed a foul a few minutes later. But then later on that season, they stopped, like a month later, they stopped booking people for the throws. And that's where I think Arsenal fans get annoyed. But I suppose other clubs have gone through that, where it's like, hang on, have I been
this season for corners? Remember? In the game versus Aston Villa.
No, you guys take long on your corners, bruv. You guys
sometimes it's actually setting it up. But yeah, it is what it is.
There we go. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in. Thank you all so much. It means a great, great deal to us. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. This is going to redirect you to Husam's channel. So go and troll him over there now and write pussy in a tree. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.